Welcome back to the San Diego Opera Podcast. I'm Nick Revelis. My guest today is the stage director for our production of Falstaff, Olivier Tambosi. Olivier, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, I understand this production emanated from Chicago Lyric Opera, and you were the instigator, the first director. You designed this?
I designed it, of course, together with my set designer, Frank Philip Schlossman. Wonderful set that we developed for this production in Chicago in 1999.
Oh.
So this is some time ago.
Yeah.
And since then, we have done it in different opera houses, many productions, and of course, it's developed with us. So with different cast, we found different scenical solutions. And now we are doing one step further in this production here.
Now, tell me, what did you have in mind to approach Falstaff in terms of design and in terms of your, I hate the word, concept of the opera and how to communicate that opera to the audience?
So first it's important what to communicate. What is Falstaff? One thing is always astonishing for me. If you ask opera lovers, what do you think is the best opera of Verdi? Everybody says Falstaff. If you visit these people at home, you find probably they have 20 CDs of Aida, 30 of Il Trovatore, 40 of Traviata, but probably just 5 or 6 of Falstaff. So it's a strange feeling in Falstaff between it's known as the very best. It's known as the top of what Verdi could achieve in his last opera. And on the other hand, it has no arias. It has no tunes to hum. You don't leave the opera house and everybody sings the famous hit, like you have La Donna è mobile or Celeste Aida or many other famous tunes in other operas.
Right.
But this doesn't mean that Falstaff would be less rich. On the contrary, I always find, and I'm not the only to find, that there is material for 5 operas in it.
Oh, yes, at least.
As a young boy, when I first got to know this in Vienna State Opera, I was so sad in some moments that the melody passes by so quickly.
Thank you.
You know,
it's the same thing I discovered when I was young.
Yeah.
Because I first saw the opera in my 20s.
Yeah.
And I was used to middle period Verdi.
Yeah.
You know, Traviata, Rigoletto, etc. And it made me a little angry, really.
Really?
Because you'd get the beginning of a melody, but then it would go somewhere else.
Yeah. So
and then another beginning, and then it would go somewhere else. But what was he doing? Tell us what he was doing by
he was doing something incredible that we really cannot fully understand. The man was 80, and he composed something which is so full of life. So I think the vitality of this is the main character of this opera. From the very first beat, there is a motoric in the orchestra which is embedding everything that makes life pulsating. And this doesn't stop. And we said once to an audience, if you want to get very old, I don't know, 120, 130, something that science and medicine cannot yet grant in our time. But there is one thing, don't come just to the opening performance. Come to all performances, because it's like an elixir of life.
It really is. It's remarkable.
Now, this is a funny way, like I said it now, this is a funny way to say it, but there is some truth in it. And this is the most inexplicable thing, because with so many artists, writers, poets, painters, composers, at some age, they left the earthly things behind them, and they opened to some spiritual view and philosophical view. It was no longer about food and drink and sex. It was about some metaphysical layers of human existence. Not with Verdi.
Yeah, like
it's still about the feeling of the sun on your skin. It's about youth. It's about the love couple in this opera, the lovers, Fenton and Nannetta. It is the first lovers in Verdi's opera that love innocent, that have like if the world loves itself through them.
There's no cloud over there.
No cloud. So in rehearsals, I always say to the singers, please don't suffer. Because in so many operas, when you say, I love you, it's connected with suffering. I love you, but but it will not be possible because we will have to kill ourselves, and my family doesn't like your family, and it's Romeo and Juliet and whatever, and it's connected with poison and dagger and whatever. And here not, it's just they see each other and they almost faint and run to each other and kiss, and all this not in a kind of ecstatic outsider way. No, it's feelings that all of us
And it's very
have
human.
yeah,
It's very human.
so it's amazing for me.
Yeah.
Now the character of Falstaff, of course, himself is in the center. If you just read what happens, you would say this is an evil guy. So he abuses the population, he exploits them, he thinks that he is something better, he profits from other people without giving something back. If you see, and so interesting is not what happens, but how they say it. It's written by Boito, the librettist, and Verdi in a language that is so close with the music. And in this, even the evil deeds or just the greed, and that Falstaff wants more to eat and he was become even fat and immense. He says, my stomach is my kingdom and I will make this greater again. But in all that is such a, probably also enhanced with the music, is such a love for life.
Yeah.
And if you look at
You can't
if you look
hate
at
it.
all the other people, Alice, Ford, Meg, they all get something from him. Of course, he causes them trouble, but he stirs their wit. They have to start plans how to defend against him, how to take vengeance on him. But at the same time, they start also to feel more alive than before. In the end, he says, I am the salt in your soup.
Yeah.
And okay, this is also some praising himself.
Right.
So it's with a twinkle of an eye. But on the other hand, he's right. He is the salt in the soup. And if we read Verdi's letters that he wrote at the time of composing, between him and Boito, the librettist, Verdi is in love with this character.
Oh, yeah.
He says, okay, he has this defect and that defect, but he is something. He is a type of his own, and that's something that Verdi loves dearly.
Well, he's such a reflection of humanity. Because all of us experienced those things in our lives at one time or another. We have lied at one time or another. We have exaggerated, or we have bullied, or we have wanted to seduce. So all of those things. But in Falstaff, it's all written large, right?
And then it's probably almost dangerous if we talk about it like that, because what we're doing is we talk about it like a psychological approach to the characters. Like we analyze them and say what they stand for. The funny thing in for me, other directors may say different, is it is not only human people, it's also characters of Commedia dell'arte. It's types. It's types. It's the Dr. Caius, it's the old doctor who still wants the young girl. It's Falstaff, the fat man who wants to eat more and more. It's Alice, the woman who is thought to be unfaithful by her husband. It's the jealous husband. So all these types of Commedia dell'arte appear, but they stay not wooden. They are full of life. So probably it's not real persons on stage. It's even more than real persons. And now, even if this sounds exaggerated, if you see a scene of this opera, and not even in the fully staged version, if you come to the rehearsal stage and we just do it with piano and it's not yet perfect, and we work on it and we interrupt and we do little parts and we connect them, so to put the puzzle together. But already then, some moments, conductor and I will look at each other because it's so amazing, it's so real. It's these opera singers that sing the lines that were composed in long ago and first performed in 1893, and we do it now here, and all of a sudden it seems if they are more real than the people we meet in the street, and so this is an amazing quality that even Verdi reaches not always, not in all his operas. Here he reaches that.
It still feels fresh.
Yeah.
Even after over 100 years of performances and being
And
around.
if I may say, for me, a part of the story, and of the characters and of their interactions, which is the basic thing for a director to work on, there is something amazing. This is the outburst of laughter, as Boito has called it. So this opera is, from the first bars in the orchestra starts to laugh. It's an outburst of laughter. And looking at Verdi's career as a composer, this is something special. So he started his career as an opera writer with a funny opera, Un giorno di legno. He tried to be funny, but it was a failure.
Didn't work.
Didn't work. Nobody wanted to. Nobody loved it. They said, "Look, Rossini does it much better. We don't. It's not your talent."
Yeah.
Then, after decades of operas with highly dramatic and tragic situations and suicidal arias and moments of love and hatred and whatever you can think. After all that, he proves the world, I can make an audience laugh. I can put this humor in music, and humor in music is something very rare.
And it's very difficult.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
You can write funny words. It's not so difficult.
Yeah.
But funny music, that the music makes you positive. It's not a humor. So when you look at Wagner, always when something funny happens, it is we laugh about one person. We laugh against him because he failed. Or Wotan makes fun of me because if you can answer these questions, your head is lost and will be cut off, and even not myself will do it, but you're doomed. Yeah, and with Verdi you have this laughter which is contagious, and it ends with this tutto nel mondo è burla. Everything is now burla is not fun. It is not happiness. It is things that we laugh about. And what do we learn to laugh about? About ourselves. We learn, and it's not a kind of superficial fun where you say, let's not look at the dark sides of life. Let's pretend everything is ha ha ha. Let's have a good evening. It's not that. It is we acknowledge there is hatred, there is war, there is Holocaust, there is whatever terrible, the most terrible things that you can think about, and a lot of people starving, and we cannot help them, and we don't help them, or we try, or whatever. And it's all there, and but don't let, it's a madhouse. This world is a madhouse. Don't let us forget laughter, in that we can laugh about this, even about our tendency to be helpless in these tragedies. If we fall deeper in the tragic feeling, we will be unable to act. We will fail completely. But if we keep the power that comes from this, and it's a laughter sometimes that hurts. So if you look at this fuga finale, the opera ends with a fugue, musical fugue, which is unusual in opera. Verdi used it once before, long ago, in one of his other avant-garde operas, Macbeth, also a Shakespearean play.
Opera, yeah.
And he used the fugue to describe a battle. Here he uses the fugue to describe the human laughter, a laughter that spins all around this globe and explodes into the universe. And in the middle of this fugue, all of a sudden, for something like eight measures of music, it gets dark. There is an A minor chord with a G sharp, which creates a dissonant chord, which is repeated aggressively. And then the music stops completely and there is silence. And now, tutti gabati, we all are trapped in failures. The soloists and the chorus find their voices again, and the laughter builds up again, and then it's only something like 30 seconds until the opera ends in laughter.
Yeah.
But this shocking moment of darkness, which is like if all of a sudden, planes with bombs would come over, and everybody says, "Oh my God, what's happening from there? What strike of fate comes now?" So I think this is quite genial, and with words we can only approach and encircle what it means. You need to listen to that. You need to feel it in a performance.
And all of this from an 80-year-old man.
This is the
which is, you know, I mean, to be full of life and humanity and laughter
and
at that point in his life after this 50-year career.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And without wanting to be too missionary about it, but you know, I think that not just in opera, but also in all other forms of art, be it painting, be it literature, be it cinema, whatever, you find very few works that embed this kind of pulsating vitality.
Thank you so much. That was so brilliant.
Well,
and it really,
thank you for having me. Thank you.
It'd be very, very attractive for our audience who come to opera already, but I think for someone who has never seen opera before, that's a perfect introduction to Falstaff.
Great. Fine.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Malannaiosti che dalla calza al vino. Vedi questa meteora, la vedo, essa si corca rossa così ogni notte. Pronostico di fatta, hai fatto bene, furfante, con noi narrando frasche. Poi quando poi penserò, m'hai vuotate le tasche, non io,